Good morning here at 5 a.m. We do have some breaking news to start this morning. Right now, police are looking for a man accused of sexually assaulting a CU student at an off-campus dorm.
A scary situation. School hasn't even started yet. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta joins us now from the campus there. Veronica, students just started moving into those dorms this week. Many of them are freshmen.
They did. They actually just started moving in on Monday. We're talking about just 3 days ago. And of course, not only is this a terrifying situation for that victim, but it's also really scary for her fellow students, other neighbors that are living inside of this building here behind me that are going to have to wake up to this news at some point this morning and see what happened here at this new place that they have to call home, at least for the rest of this year. So let's run you through exactly what police are telling us. First off, we know it happened right here behind me. This is the Williams Village North building. Police say it happened late last night. We're talking right around 10. They say the suspect got inside of this off-campus dorm hall. He knocked on the victim's door. The victim, who we also know is a girl, opened her door and was immediately grabbed by the neck and sexually assaulted. Now this morning, we do have a description of that suspect. Police telling us that he is a white man. He's college aged, roughly 6 feet tall with dirty blonde hair. And he was described as having a white or a gray shirt and was described as being, or rather wearing, sweatpants last night as well. Now, police also putting this reminder out. They just want to remind both off-campus and on-campus students that when someone comes to your door, maybe stop for a second, ask who it is before you actually open that door. And of course, CUPD is investigating this. And if you have any details on who this suspect might be or what exactly happened here last night, they are urging you give them a call. You can do that at 303-492-6666. We're in Boulder this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Veronica, we know this is such a big concern for young women going to college, their parents no doubt worried. So we did want to let you know that CU Boulder does have a resource, a safety app, free for students and staff.
That's called the Guardian Mobile Safety App. It allows you to set your friends or family members as guardians. So if you go on a walk or a jog or if you bike anywhere, anytime you start a trip, your guardians will get a text showing your current location and how long it's expected to take. And then once you arrive safely, you mark your trip as complete, and then your guardians get notified again. Just search Rave Guardian in the Apple Store or Google Play. Lisa.
That's a good one. I'm going to put it on my daughter's phone today. Now just about 5:03. Take a look at our temps. Early on this morning, we're going to see 60s, low to mid 70s here by about 9 to near 10 o'clock, and then we're going to climb into the upper 80s. It is going to be one of the warmer days this week. Highs will be close to 90 this afternoon. Extremely comfortable out there this morning. You're going to find sunshine, a beautiful, pretty bright start to our Thursday morning. And look at these highs, anywhere from 88 to near 90. Denver, Highlands Ranch, Castle Rock, and Parker, you're going to be in the low 80s today, more 70s for the mountains. Pretty dry today. Southwestern Colorado could pick up a few storms. We're going to see a better chance here in town tomorrow. I'll show you what that looks like and your full forecast on our Super 7 Day coming up.
And we still have some lingering construction here and there, including on I-70. We'll look at that in just a bit. Down to the south side of town, had this tanker that had some brake issues going on through Castle Rock, and it stopped at Founders Parkway, way over to the side, but it was carrying liquid nitrogen, and so that brought in the rescue squad. So if you hear of I-25 being closed down there, it's not the case. Take a look at I-25 though at Larkspur. You still see quite a bit of construction traffic here, so it is starting to slow things down, but not too terribly much. Even though you saw the drive times pretty elevated right now, it's not going to be quite this bad, but the speeds will dip right there in the Larkspur area. But the rest of the drive looks okay to the south side of town. Take a look at I-70 across I-25. Still a lot of flashing lights here from Pecos on over to Brighton, so an extra maybe 2 minutes on that trip. But the rest of the commute around town looks okay.
Well, one of 3 teenagers accused of intentionally setting this Green Valley Ranch home on fire will be in court this morning. This was the tragic scene in 2020. Hard to forget these images. The 3 suspects were captured by surveillance cameras wearing masks the night of the fire. 5 members of the Gio family died, including 2 children. 3 others escaped after jumping out of a second-story window. Attorney and Denver 7 reporter Jessica Crawford is joining us from the courthouse this morning. Jessica, the teen suspect is being charged as an adult.
That's right. And what's happening at the court today is listed as an arraignment, but Kevin Bowie could be taking a plea deal. So let's take a look back at how we got here. When we were in court following this case 2 weeks ago, his defense attorneys wanted the hearing pushed back because they were working on a plea. Prosecutors said they were taking a bit longer to get that ready because they don't often work with cases involving kids that are this severe. You've likely heard of plea deals on the news or on TV shows, but there are some main points that I want to make sure you understand. These are agreements between defendants like Bowie and the prosecutors. Typically, the prosecutor offers to reduce the defendant's punishment by dropping charges or the severity of those charges. Sometimes the defendant agrees to testify against someone else, and there are other suspects here in this arson case. So we don't know exactly what the situation could be with Kevin Bowie, but we are expecting to learn much more at 8:30 when he is expected in court. Now, on another note, plea deals can be a bit controversial. Some critics say that they allow defendants to escape the true consequences of their crimes, while others are concerned that they could lead to false convictions. I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
All right, thank you, Jessica. Bowie's sister, Tanya Bowie, was sentenced to more than 10 years in prison just last month. She pleaded guilty to drug and gun charges. Officials say she often dealt drugs with her brother and may have helped him cover up the Green Valley Ranch house fire.
We are now hearing from some of the bystanders hurt during a police shooting in Lodo last month, which is a night they'll never forget. They were all outside Larimer Beer Hall in a crowd of people as officers responded to a fight. Officers eventually opened fire intending to stop the suspect, which they did, but the others hurt in the exchange are now speaking out after police released body camera video on Tuesday. One of the victims can't bring himself to watch it just yet.
I'm still dealing with the healing process of what took place that day, physically and mentally. I'll eventually watch it.
Everything happened so quickly, and in one of the videos you can very clearly see that the suspect had dropped the weapon before shots were fired.
And as a civilian, if I was to be in that situation or I shot a bullet in that situation, I would have been immediately, publicly, everywhere and held accountable.
One of the shooting victims has nerve damage to his hand because of the incident. A grand jury will now decide whether the 3 officers involved should face charges.
A big story will be following throughout the day. A judge will consider today whether or not to unseal the affidavit used to justify the FBI raid of former President Trump's Florida home. The Justice Department requested the document remain sealed. It says the release could damage the criminal investigation and prevent witness cooperation. Trump himself has called for it to be released, saying it is in the interest of being transparent. Meanwhile, Trump is also reportedly considering releasing surveillance footage from the search.
Well, classes start next week for Colorado's largest school district, but Denver Public Schools is in a mad dash to get ready for the school year because of staff shortages. So today, the district will host 3 simultaneous job fairs, and they are looking for a lot of positions: bus drivers, custodial staff, food service employees, mechanics, paraprofessionals, and patrol officers. They need all of them. The job fairs will be from 4:30 to 6:30 this afternoon, and the locations are right there on your screen: the Bruce Randolph School, the Northeast Bus Terminal, and the DPS Training Center. The state is forcing CU Denver to change how it trains future teachers. The Board of Education says the university needs to change reading courses in the teacher prep program. The board granted partial approval to the elementary, early childhood, and special education programs. It received full approval for early childhood special education. This is part of the state's efforts to hold teacher preparation programs accountable. Lisa.
We are in for what's going to be a pretty warm afternoon. T-shirt and shorts weather for your kids as they're heading out to school this morning. Low to mid 60s here at the bus stop early on. Lots of sunshine. A warmer afternoon. We'll be at about 85, 87 degrees by the time your kids get home. Coming up, it is going to get a little cooler tomorrow. More storms on our Super 7-day. Details in just a few minutes.
And looking pretty good in the North 40 up along the construction zone on that north project up from Longmont towards Fort Collins. Looking pretty nice here in Longmont at 119 at I-25. So pretty quiet start for you in most areas to the north.
A scary scene here. New developments after a Texas youth football coach was shot and killed at a game, and now a former Broncos player is accused of starting the fight.
And we're all guilty of it, scrolling through social media throughout the day. No real reason for it. New this morning, how much of your life you're spending online.